Browns roster cutdown day, but the big news happened well before the 4 o'clock deadline, Mary Kay. The Browns traded Kenny Pickett to the Las Vegas Raiders, so they are now down to 3 quarterbacks, and Dillon Gabriel is officially this team's number 2 quarterback.
Absolutely. That was kind of a surprise because, as we had been talking about and I had been writing for a while, they really planned to keep all 4 quarterbacks. They wanted those 2 veterans on the roster, Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, and then they wanted to develop their rookies, Dillon and Shedeur. But it was a value trade. They got a 5th-round pick for Kenny, which is what they gave up to get him in the first place, and they felt it was an offer that they just couldn't refuse. I don't really agree with it. I think they could have used those 2 veteran quarterbacks. They've used so many quarterbacks over the past couple of years. But the thing here is the fact that Dillon Gabriel just stepped up to the plate, and he really showed that he is ready for this moment and that he can be the backup. And when that happened, I think they felt very comfortable trading Kenny.
Yeah, and look, we've seen this before a couple years ago when they made the trade of Josh Dobbs and put Dorian Thompson-Robinson into that role. That did not work out. This, hopefully, a different situation, Ashley, but like Mary Kay referenced, it was one of those situations they had a chance to get that 5th-round pick back that they gave up for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I understand that part of why they did it. Like Mary Kay, I tend to be a bit, I don't know, I'm not a fan of getting rid of another veteran when you've seen how many quarterbacks they've had to go through over the last 2 years, and we know how valuable those guys are. I mean, we've talked about the backup job being a totally separate job off the field unto itself. So, yeah, I see why they did it from the Picks perspective, being impressed by Dillon Gabriel and what he did. But I'm curious if it's a move that's going to ultimately come back to bite them down the line.
All right, now the most significant move after the Kenny Pickett deal was making a decision at kicker. Dustin Hopkins is gone. Andre Schmidt is going to be this team's kicker. He has never kicked in a game, but Mary Kay, that last field goal, that last extra point attempt from Dustin Hopkins, he sent it wide left. That seemed to be the nail in the coffin for Dustin after the Browns tried to stand by him all last season, all off season. It just got to be too much.
Yeah, it really must have come down to the wire and that last game, because otherwise, why would they have kept Dustin Hopkins hanging on for this amount of time? I think it turned out to be probably a little bit of a difficult decision for them to go from a 12th year pro who was really kicking at a Pro Bowl level for them in 2023 and then faltered last year and turn it over to a first year kicker again who's never kicked in an NFL game. So we'll see how it goes. I was a little bit surprised by that. I wasn't sure that they were ready to make this move, but they were ready. Let's see how it goes now.
And Ashley, we've talked about this on podcasts, on videos. Those margins are so thin with this football team when it comes to winning. They can't have their kicker blow it. Now, obviously, like I said, Andre Schmidt has never kicked in an NFL game. But with Dustin Hopkins, I mean, you obviously got to talk to him a little bit on Saturday after that game. It just wasn't getting fixed.
Yeah, and I think, too, the interesting piece of this is all his misses in games in the preseason. The 2 misses were both on PATs. So I wonder if that was a part of it, right? The guy's making his field goals, but then struggling with what should be the easiest kick for a kicker to make. So that part of it I wondered about as well. And even when you talk to him and when I talked to him on Saturday, I wondered if he really kind of had put last year behind him, because my sense was maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe the Browns also thought the same thing.
Okay, Mary Kay, what was another takeaway that you had from the Browns' 53-man roster?
Well, one of the things that stands out in my mind are all the undrafted rookies that made the team. Gage Larvidan, the wide receiver, he's only 5'8", but he plays much bigger. Then you have Aiden Huntington, the defensive tackle, who can also play fullback. You've got a safety in Donovan McMillan, who just kind of almost came out of nowhere and won this job. And then I'm forgetting somebody else. There's one more.
The linebacker.
The linebacker, Easton Mascarenas-Arnold. He also made it, and he had a really, really nice preseason. So this is kind of a lot of guys to come out of nowhere. And, of course, they also signed Isaiah Bond as an undrafted rookie, but he was in a different category. But a lot of these guys just coming in here and planting their flag and making the team.
Ashley, what stood out to you?
I'm going to go with there's only 2 running backs on this roster right now. So, look, we know what that means, right? Quinshon Judkins is going to be here and be the top guy in that room eventually. But I think a minor surprise, if we want to call it that they decided to move on from Pierre Strong Jr. today. Kevin Stefanski got up there today and said there will be more than 2 running backs on this football team. So we know it's coming, but I'm curious to see if they'll make another move or something, or if Quinshon Judkins will be here fairly soon, but up in the air right now.
Yeah, and for me, it's just sort of keeping an eye on that cruel world of the NFL. You get that relief of making the 53-man roster, but there are certainly guys kind of referencing what you were just talking about, Ashley, with only 2 running backs, depending how they approach that. Somebody might not be in as good a mood tomorrow, so you look at the tight end room where Brendan Bates is in there, Donovan McMillan at safety. You hope those guys can hang on, but this is the fickle world of the NFL, that bottom of the roster turn. Those are a couple of the positions that you kind of circle, maybe having room to make room for a running back or some other position. When it happens, whatever happens, and of course, full coverage of this 53-man roster, you can find it all at cleveland.com/Browns.